Welcome to Off the Cut, a podcast where we talk about building, making,
and answering all of your questions.
No one wants your damn intro. Start cutting stuff.
Yeah.
Just start your damn video because you're losing everybody. For God's sakes, just shut up and get on with it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to podcast.
Now let's get into the show. I mean, that's pretty
incredible.
Great. That's pretty great.
All right, that might have to be our new intro.
I like that it's got some practical advice in there too. It's nice.
I know. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Off the Cut episode 65. We're up in Toronto. Today is known as Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. But here in Ohio, today is respectfully dedicated to the food of the day. Oh, gosh. Coquilles Saint Jacques.
Sounds like a French word.
Well, there's the end of the show. Lost. I probably insulted multiple people groups and probably said something. I don't know what I just said.
I think you might be on a watch list right now.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to Google this. Coquilles.
Yeah, let me know what this is.
Oh, what the hell is this? Is this like a clam?
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I'm in.
Some sort
I'm
of
in. Okay.
Sea urchin?
It is a... Give me a description. Hold on. It's like a scallop dish with a creamy sauce and Gruyere cheese.
Okay. What is a scallop? Like, I've had scallops before, but I don't really know what... I've never seen a wild scallop.
It's like a sea barnacle, right?
It's like a little barnacle-y thing?
Yeah.
When you're eating a scallop, like, say you get, like, scallops in your pasta or whatever, is that the whole animal? Just like, or is it, like, chopped up?
Wait, if I get a scallop in my what?
Your pasta or whatever.
No, I think you usually get a whole one, right?
Is it a whole one or is it part of one? I don't know.
Yeah, the little guy that's
it's like a little circular thing.
Ball.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's a whole one.
Or is it like a little long tentacle thing that they chop into cross sections?
No, that's their actual size. So it opens. It's like a clam, and then you take the oyster. It's like you take the oyster thing out of it. It would actually look kind of scary, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. It does look scary. I just look one up now. Second follow-up question: why are scalloped potatoes called scalloped potatoes? Is there any relation to the scallop?
I think scalloped means
sliced.
It's like some sort of what? I don't know. I think is it like a preparation? What is scalloping a potato?
Ornament with scallops. It's
a noun for a thin slice of potato dipped in batter and deep fried.
Oh, really? Oh, it also means bake with milk or a sauce. Wow. This is riveting podcast content.
Yeah.
Imagine all the woodworking people tuning in to listen to this, and we're just talking about scallops and scallop potatoes.
But here's the thing that people have to keep in mind, is that even the worst episode of Off the Cut is
better
still
than Green Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it blows my mind that people still listen to the trash that it's put out in the ether that the guys at the Green Suiters podcast do. And it's a shame, really. It's a shame.
I saw Jason last week because he came to do the Festool Recharge event here in Toronto.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you how that went.
Yeah, it was fun. But the first thing, so I met up with Scott Walsh and we were just kind of walking around because Jason was busy talking to somebody. And then we go up and start talking to him once he's free. And the first thing he says to us is, how the hell does anybody live in this city? Because he was like, the traffic here is so insane that I don't understand how anybody gets anything done.
Yeah.
Which is fair. It's fair.
Yeah. So you said you met with Scott and you guys went to the event and hung out with Jason and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was fun to go to see the event. So the event was all the new Festool cordless tools. I'm sure you know, but
Yeah.
it's they had a new track saw out, they had a new table saw, they had a new miter saw, they had a reciprocating saw, a couple impact drivers. Cool
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's fun to play with.
So, as someone who works in the trades,
Mm-hmm.
be brutally, deadly honest. You're not sponsored by Festool whatsoever. Would anyone ever use a recip saw with dust collection?
Probably not. That seemed a little ridiculous to me. Because recip saw, you're using it for demolition.
Right.
And when you're doing demolition, it's, you're not worried about dust. Like, everybody's wearing respirators, they're wearing like gloves and clothes you don't care about because
Right.
it's dirty work. And you just kind of accept that it's dirty because to do it clean would slow you down too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could think of is, let's say you're in a finished home and for whatever reason, you're just changing a window.
Yes. In that situation, sure, I could see it.
Okay.
But that's pretty niche. Like, that's... And at the same time, like, I've done that before, being in a finished home, cutting something with a recip saw. I'll just have, like, one of my apprentices, like, hold the vacuum nozzle
Okay.
right near the hose. That's cheaper than the whole Festool dust extraction system plus the recip saw. That being said, very nice recip saw. I used it to slice through an LVL, which is like a laminated veneer lumber beam. So it's like basically a structural beam made out of plywood, essentially.
Right.
They did a good job of cutting it. It was nice. Very minimal, kick to it. Is very smooth. I liked it.
It's got a lot of guts to it.
It does. It definitely does.
As someone who doesn't own a recip saw,
yeah,
I will more than likely get that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you have the connection, you can get it, or money's no object. It's a good saw. I just don't know that it's twice as good as like a Milwaukee or DeWalt because it's twice as much.
But I'm sure that's probably, if I had to take a stab at it, it's going to... Actually, I think the price is out. So
I asked at the show and they said no, they didn't know the price. That was last week. So
cordless, new tools. It is not on the USA website yet. So no, I can't tell you what it is. But I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere in like the $300 to $400 range.
The nice woman who was running the booth told me that it would be competitive, and that's all she could really say.
Right.
So,
but I mean, like the top of the line, like Milwaukee, like whatever the hell they call their like fuel thing, and then whatever DeWalt's like FlexVolt one is, I'm sure that's at least $200 to $300, wouldn't you assume?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the top end one. The top end Milwaukee one looks like maybe it's 300 Canadian, so probably 250 American.
Okay.
Although they have another one that's a little bit more, 328. So that's, kind of 250, 275 American, something like that. So yeah, it's getting up there. The DeWalt's got one that's almost $400. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, when you put it into perspective, it's like, okay, maybe it's not as crazy expensive as you might think.
Yeah, true. Oh, the $400 one comes with a 9 amp hour 60 volt battery, so that's why that one's so expensive.
Okay,
that's like a $300 battery on its own.
Right. So So was this the first time you'd ever used? Did you use some of these tools? Right? Did they let you demo them and stuff?
Yeah, they let us demo some of them. I think I used the table, so I didn't. I didn't go too crazy with it. I used their impact gun. Their impact gun was so nice. I was like playing around with it. Felt really good in the hand. Really well balanced. Just feels tight. And then I was playing with it, and Scott was like, "Oh yeah, they have proprietary bits for it."
No, that's not true.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they have an adapter so you can use normal bits.
Yeah.
But the stock chuck on it is like for their own proprietary heads.
So you were using like the CXS or whatever the hell their new 18 volt like small drill is. That's like their compact cabinetry drill.
I was using that one, but they also had a bigger version of it.
So if it's the TID 18, that takes standard 1/4 inch chucks.
It wasn't a TID 18. It had the front like finger bash.
Oh yeah, like the CXS, as I think is the new one.
I'm trying to pull it up. I can't.
CXS18, I believe.
Let's see.
See, I'm terrible at this.
Yeah.
FestalUSA.com. Like, I try to know model numbers and stuff when people ask, but I'm never very good at it.
Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, so CXS, is that even the one I was using though? I don't think that's the one I was using.
Go on Festool.com, not FestalUSA.com, because this is the European one, so they have more tools on there that aren't out in the US.
I see. I was on Festool Canada.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Cordless products.
So there's a CXS18, which is probably what you were using.
Yes, that is what I was using. You're correct.
So that one is like the cabinetry drill. So the whole idea of that is that you can change out the heads to do like a million different things.
Okay.
So it is true that the stock one that comes with it, like your quick change, is their Centrotech system, which will not work with 1/4 inch standard impact bits. However, at being a drill, it does have that like twisty Jacobs chuck to it.
Right. And
it's not an impact.
It's kind of, it wasn't an impact. Okay, interesting. It was kind of annoying too because it looks like it would. Like, it's basically the same size. You can get a 1/4 inch bit in there, but then it just slides out.
Yeah.
It doesn't click in.
Right.
I'd argue is bad design.
Right.
Yeah, but so we tried the CXS18 and then just the regular CXS, which I think is the smaller one.
The old CSX was at like a different battery. It was their old battery.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which is what they were replacing it with.
Gotcha. Okay, so these are I didn't realize they had a new battery too.
So they used to work on like 10-volt batteries or something silly like that, and now they're trying to streamline all their tools to have the same 18-volt battery.
Right, that makes sense. Interesting. I wonder if... So I know in Europe, they have different laws for how they rate battery voltages for cordless tools. So like a lot of tools that you'll see marketed in North America are a 20-volt tool, but then in Europe, they have to call them 18 volts because I think it's like the peak versus the nominal voltage or something like that.
Right.
So I'm curious to see if when they come to Canada, the United States, if they'll be 20 volts or if they'll just keep the 18-volt branding across the board.
They're 18 volts.
Yeah? Even here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because they already have... The 18-volt battery is what worked on like 98% of their tools, and there were just a couple small tools that were still on their old like legacy batteries.
I see.
So they're just getting everything on the same platform.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I did meet the marketing manager for North America. The nice guy, I think his name is Philip. I don't know if you've had any interaction with him.
I feel like I've met so many different people. I'm really awful with names. Unless I have a really long conversation with you, I probably I don't remember, to be honest with you.
So we'll see. Maybe in the future my channel will be run entirely off Festool stuff. It was interesting though. So I was talking to this is a little like content creator insight. So I was talking to the marketing manager. It was me and Scott, and we were just kind of shooting the shit with this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the explicit.
Oh, there it is.
And Scott was like, the guy was interested. Like, he was like, oh yeah, like tell me about your channel. And like, he said to both Scott and I, like, oh, maybe we can partner together in the future. Scott was like, nah, I don't know. I don't know if it's right for my audience. And he was worried about alienating people by using Festool tools. Like, he was worried that his audience was going to see him using Festool stuff and be like, oh, this isn't beginner-oriented content, therefore it's not for me, and then just tune out, which I thought was a very interesting observation, or at least a thought to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever thought that? I mean, I know you use a lot of Festool stuff, so have you ever considered like you might be potentially alienating people by having it in your shop?
Absolutely. Yeah. But when I, like on my last video, for example, I was like, oh, I showed how to set up like a straight edge guide and a circular saw to cut one end of my table. But I was like, oh, but if you're doing this with any frequency, having something like a track saw is a faster way to do it. So like I try every once in a while to throw in like alternate ways to do it. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
you don't have to use the domino. Here's another way you can make this joint. But
Mhm.
look how fast it is. That's
Yeah.
why I'm doing it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff like that.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, like, you know, we only have so much time to build stuff. So, like, am I gonna painstakingly make a mortise and tenon joint when I can just go zip zip, connect it together with a domino? I'm gonna take the domino every time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. And at a certain point, it's like you just. I mean, I think I'm less worried about cultivating a certain type of audience.
Right.
Like on my channel, occasionally I'll get people being like, "Oh, I stopped watching this video as soon as I saw the CNC come out." And it's like, okay, well then I like using my CNC, so I'm gonna keep using it. And it's like if I lose one person, it's like that's not the end of the world for me.
Right. Right. I mean, that's truly what it is. Like, if you enjoy doing it, that's cool.
Yeah.
If you want to use bargain basement tools all the time, because like if you're like Steve Ramsey, where your entire thing is the beginner's intro to all this stuff, then yeah, it would probably be really weird to see Steve Ramsey have a fully outfitted Festool shop, right?
Yeah, what do you think? Does Steve Ramsey have like a secret set of like backup tools that he uses like when he's working on his own house or something like that?
I know I've listened to him on a podcast before, and he said that he does have a couple things that he does use like off camera that he enjoys using. Like he's like, yeah, I would love to try out a CNC or a laser or whatever, but he's like, I just can't put that in my shop because like that's like the complete opposite of what his channel is. He's like, yeah, I'm interested in it, and I'd love to screw around with it, but
yeah.
I just don't make content on it.
Right. Interesting. It's kind of sad in some ways. Like I hate to hear that somebody's not following their interests. They're kind of like it's almost like I don't know. It's like when you hear like about like a celebrity who's like who like plays this like fun loving person, and then you're like, oh yeah, but I saw them at a restaurant being really rude to their server.
Sure.
It feels like you're cultivating this like version of yourself that's like for the camera, and then there's like this other part of you that you don't get to see, which is I don't know.
And I don't think there's a right or a wrong. I mean, like for example, look at your content. You've gotten more into like some tech oriented, like building, making and stuff, but that's because that's what you're interested in.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think that if you have an audience that follows that and is passionate and interested in just going on a journey with you, I think that's okay. Like if your tool selection changes like over time, it's normal. That's okay. And if it pisses people off, that's okay.
That's what it is. Yeah, in some ways, I guess that's a little narcissistic in the sense that, like, oh, it's my channel. It's like, it's what interests me, and people should be interested just by the virtue of the fact that it interests me. But that's where my passion is. Like, oh, I want to, like, 3D printers are cool. Like, I want to try messing around with one of those.
Right.
So,
right. I mean, think like that's where a lot of like the design ideas for the pieces of furniture I build come from. It's like, I've never tried sliding dovetails before.
Yeah.
I'm going to incorporate that into something and like show you my first time ever trying it. And
yeah, I mean, that's my favorite content to see and to create is like seeing people trying things for the first time. Because it's so fun when you do something for the first time, you learn so much.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like so easy to make content on it, right? Because you're like, oh, okay, like I learned this little tip and I learned this little tip. Oh, don't do this, don't do that. Like you have like 20 things you can talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas if it's like your 20th time making sliding dovetails, you're kind of over it at that point.
Right. Or like, how many tips can I really give on how to like joint and plane a board and like, for God's sakes, I film it, but usually during that part of the video, I don't even mention it. I'm just like, so here's kind of my idea for what I'm thinking or how I came up with this idea. I take that time to allow me to talk about something else because I'm not that interested in it.
Yeah. That's a great example for any content creators listening out there. It's like the thing that you're showing on screen does not have to correlate with what you're talking about. And you can actually make your videos more dense by like showing you milling and then like talk about the design process. They don't have to be the same thing. So you can cover two things at the same time.
Right. And I know that there's some people that will talk about one thing, show something different on the screen, and then have like a little caption
Right.
that is almost like their tertiary thought.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
I think is kind of cool, because if you're not super interested in topic 1 or topic 2, you might find topic 3 in the bottom kind of interesting.
True. You know what we should do is we should just have like a picture-in-picture thing of like a very attractive man stripping and a very attractive woman stripping. So you got like all your bases covered.
I like what you're talking about.
Imagine you just hired strippers to be like in the background of your video, just like to not even acknowledge them at all, but they're just always like suddenly stripping in the background.
Oh god. Well, you know that in the back of JCat's videos, he
Yeah.
always has random cardboard cutouts
Yeah.
of people, like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Never even talks about them.
Yeah. I wonder if any of those people have ever seen, like, has Danny DeVito ever seen his cardboard cutout in the background of a JCat's video and be like, what the hell?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I do have some what do you call them, like Easter eggs in videos. I don't put them in all of them,
Yes.
but there are some.
yeah.
And I've had a couple people call them out, be like, hey, did you mean to put this in there? I was like, yes, I did.
yes.
People are like, that's pretty funny. They're like, do you have more? I'm like, I do, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to tell you where they are.
Yeah, you gotta go find them. Yeah, I like to incorporate little Easter eggs. And even like, you see, I often I'll like mark up like on screen with like text. I'll just put like
Sure.
little, like when I'm editing, it's like, I'm not gonna do a new voiceover. I'm not gonna like re-record this take. I'm
Right.
just gonna put a little text box that says like, oh, and I also did this, or, you know, and it's, I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways you can have fun with the medium.
Right. You could be like, oh, and then I cut this piece to a 1/2 inch long. And like right when it says 1/2 inch long, you just say like 3/4 on the text, like or with
Yeah.
the text on the screen. Like no one
Yeah.
cares. No one
Yeah, or
cares.
in my last video, I said slippery silicone snake, and then I put really quick on screen, it flashed. It was like my high school nickname for like 2
I saw
frames.
that. I like that. And it adds a little like a little fun, a little character, a little pizzazz
Yeah,
to it.
it's just silly.
That's funny. Oh, I wanted to ask. Oh my god, almost choked. So I wanted to ask: after you went to the festival event, was there
Mhm.
anything there that you're like, huh? I might have to buy that. I might like that.
It's tough. So their miter saw the Capex was really nice. Wouldn't work in my shop, so that's an obvious like scratch that out right there. I saw the new table saw, which looked nice, but again, it's not going to compete. It's like a contractor saw. It's
Right.
not. It's not really a shop saw, so that's kind of scratched out. I like the drivers. I honestly really like the feel of the drivers.
Yeah.
So maybe those, but again, it's like, I think there's better places I could probably spend my money before
Sure.
those. Traxel would be one that I would be interested in.
Did you like it more than the DeWalt one?
Based on my limited testing, yes. I haven't tried DeWalt's new updated cordless one though. I have their older corded stuff. The one I have now is like 5 years old.
Okay.
I got it before I even got into the content game.
I didn't know they had a cordless one, and it comes in the little tough box thing, whatever the hell they call it.
Yes, yeah. So I don't know. Honestly, I didn't really walk away from there like, oh, I got to get like this Festool thing. Not that I
And it was their
disliked
new
it.
stuff too. It wasn't like the whole kit and caboodle.
Exactly. I'm sure there's some Festool stuff like the Domino that I should probably get, but
Have you used one yet?
no, still never even laid my hands on one.
Oh,
At this point, I think I said this last episode. This point, it's like I'm just being like kind of a contrarian with it. Like,
fair.
you know, like everybody's like, oh, you have to watch this TV show. And they just keep telling you. You're like, I am never going to watch this effing TV show just to piss you guys off.
That's Game of Thrones, man. People are like, you gotta
Yes.
watch Game of Thrones. I'm like, I'm not watching it.
Mad Men. I've never watched Mad Men.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah, I've
tells
heard of that. I'm not watching that one either.
me.
And it's the same thing with like movies,
Yes.
TV shows.
Yes. New restaurants. Oh, you got to try this place. You got to try that.
Not
Yeah,
going.
Maybe. Yeah.
Podcasts. People are like, you
Oh.
gotta check out Green Suiters podcast.
Oh,
It's like,
it's just the
get
worst.
out of here. No way.
No effing way.
Not listen to that trash. But yeah, I don't know. Isn't so? Did you had fun? What did Scott think? Scott was just throwing all sorts of anti-festival propaganda, I'm sure.
No, okay. Here's the interesting thing about Scott is he knows all the Festool tools. Yeah. He was telling me he was like the best Festool salesperson ever. He was like, "Oh, this is the bigger track saw. It's got this one's got 75 millimeter depth. This is the 65. This is the cordless one, but it's 2 batteries. This is the cordless one, but it's 1 battery." He knew everything, but he was like, "I would never have any of those in my shop."
He's a nerd. He's a nerd.
You can tell that he was he liked the Festool tools. He was into them, but didn't want to alienate the people watching.
Scott's just a big liar. We all know it.
Yeah.
But did you meet any cool people like from the community? Any people like, "Hey, I watch your stuff" or whatever?
No, I actually just kind of like I was there as Scott and Jason got fangirled over. Like people were coming up to both of them like, "Hey, I really like your stuff," and I just kind of stood to the side awkwardly.
And they're like, "Who are you?"
Oh, the best part is I wore my Spenceley Design t-shirt. And
did somebody think you were me?
No, but somebody made a comment about your titles, your thumbnails.
You're like, "Yeah, they suck. I hate them."
Yeah, Jason, Scott, and I were kind of brainstorming the title for Jason's next video a little bit. And this guy kind of wandered over and he was just like, "Oh, you should just do what the Spenceley guy does."
See if it works.
Name them inane things.
Yeah.
It was funny.
But the thing, I mean, it's one of those things I've considered addressing it in an upcoming video, like during a voiceover, and be like, "Yeah, by the way, here's why I do this," and like show like a A/B test of how to build a dining room table.
Yeah.
Asinine title. Yeah. Here's why I do it. But I know that doesn't solve anything. It's like, just move on.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, look, the thing is, if you click on the video in order to make the comments that you're like unhappy with clickbait, it's like, well, you're part of the problem then. Like you clicked on the video, so it's like it works. So why you're the problem, not the creator.
Right. But see, I really only have I don't like the titles. We've talked about this. The thumbnails, it's like, oh, kind of attention grabbing. You're like, what is he doing? That's the goal is is to drive curiosity. Now, by example, I always give, if I have some woman with heaving breasts on, and it's like something like she's about to take her top off.
Yeah, we're coming back to my stripper idea now.
Yeah. And then like I just get into the video and it's just about me woodworking. Okay. That's bad clickbait. It has zero to do with the video. That's not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't make everybody happy.
You're trying to legit bait people, right? That's
right.
What, what's his name was saying? John from Lincoln Street.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, am I trying to bait people? You bet I am.
But the best is the best thumbnail and title combinations are the ones that are like dangerously close to clickbait. You have to be like right on the line.
Right.
And it's like, it's unfortunate, but it's kind of the way it is.
I feel like that was the word that Cam from Blacktail used during the speech that he did with John.
Yeah.
At Workbench Con. It was like you're teetering on the line, like that gray area between legit bait and clickbait.
Yeah, you're dancing on the line.
Right. And look, at the end of the day, we're both trying to make this substantial, viable careers for ourselves. And if unfortunately putting stupid ass titles and thumbnails out there is what sends videos to the moon, I gotta play the game. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's like, imagine like, if you were putting your resume out there, like trying to get like the job that was going to send your career to the next level.
Right.
And like everybody was like, dude, you got to do a clickbait resume. Would you do the clickbait resume? I think most people would do a clickbait resume.
No, I'm glad that you said that. So How many times do you hear people say, "Oh, yeah, when you make a resume, like, don't just be like, I sorted cups and I put money in the cash register."
Yeah.
Okay, you were like, with the cashier at McDonald's or
You
whatever.
handled financial operations as well
Right.
as inventory management.
Right. And then people will be like, "Well, no, 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 that's different though. That's different." It's like, I'm doing that for work. It's like, yeah, so are we.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
anyway, speaking
What?
of people who lie on their resume, um, we we have our returning top tier patrons. No new patrons this week, which
Oh,
hopefully,
dun dun dun. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Do I have a sound effect for that? No, we need sound effects. We just have background music.
yeah,
I'm
which
gonna write the
hopefully
people
that
at
means that they're
StreamYard.
not supporting the Green Suiters podcast on Patreon, because that would be an absolute shamble. But returning top tier patrons, we've got Dadu, Luke Schmidt, Derek Jennings at Bacantry Designs, which he deserves an extra special shout out. He's the one hooking us up with these awesome video clips to help promote the podcast. And he made that slick new intro we have, which I'm all for it.
Fantastic.
It definitely made me laugh. That was legitimately the first time either of us had heard it.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got Corey Duvall, which, Corey, I've got some news for you. I know you're going to be excited about. We'll talk later. Jason Price at Priceless Pro Designs, Scott Eastman at EC's Wood Shop, and we actually just got off the phone with our power cocker, formerly known as Wes, before the show. Talked to him for about a half hour, 40 minutes, all about his new YouTube channel, some tips, some tricks, some advice and stuff. So if that's something you want to do, join those top tier calls. Head over to patreon.com/offthecut podcast. Get access to the after show, Discord, merch, all kinds of stuff. And our main selling point now is when you support Off the Cut, you're not supporting Green Suiters podcast.
That's right. And also, the best part about becoming a supporter on Patreon is that when you listen to the after show, there's a little Easter egg that not a lot of people know about. Every week, I improvise an inane intro to a made-up podcast.
This week should be the Green Suiters podcast.
Oh, it should be, yeah. Okay, here, while you were reading the patron names, I was downloading sound effects and uploading them to StreamYard. So now we have a good shot that we can use.
So is that going to be every time, but like, don't listen to the Green Suiters podcast? Shoot them dead. Oh, this is such a great rivalry, which I think we should address it because Jason did address it on Green Suiters podcast. For anyone who can't pick up on sarcasm,
Yeah.
we are not actually bashing their show. It is a fun rivalry.
Mhm.
Sedge, Ronnie, and Jason, we all know them. Great guys. We're just having a little fun, and they said that their numbers are going up, so I'm assuming it has
Perfect.
everything to do
with
us trashing how bad their podcast is. So, is what it is. But what have you been up to, Zach? Anything exciting? How's that house coming?
Good. I'm almost in the house. I was saying that to the live stream crew before we got started. This weekend I should be done. And then I'm thinking I might take the whole summer off my day job. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How's your dad feel about this?
He's cool. It was his idea. Like, so we were having a discussion about it. We're trying to plan out, like, okay, like we have a couple potential clients for the near future. And he's like, I got this offer for a pretty decent sized job. He was like, what do you think? I was kind of thinking to tell them like late August, September potential start time. Like,
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Because I was a little worried he was going to be like, okay, we'll take like 3 weeks off and then we'll start another house.
Okay.
So yeah.
So with all this time off the day job, have you, already brainstormed, come up with a list? Oh my God, this bubbly's killing me. Come up with a list of like things like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this.
Yeah.
I want to do
Yeah,
this.
definitely.
I've
already got like a full list. I've got like 5 or 6 projects that I really want to tackle that I'm really excited about.
Ooh.
I have 2 or 3 products that I would like to do. Like
Okay.
digital products. Redo the website. Dadu knows all about this. What else? I got other stuff. I mean, spend a little bit more time working on the podcast, get back into short form content. I got stuff I want to do. And I want to work on my own house a little bit.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So what project would you say you're most excited about?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think my coffee table that's also all my electronics.
Oh, the coffee table media.
Yes.
What are you going to call it? Like a media table?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm thinking of calling it your media center is a waste of space.
Ooh.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess the media table. I like that.
How about the most useless piece of furniture?
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
I don't understand why people still have these.
Yeah, that's actually a good one.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to find a way to run power to that coffee table. Like,
yes, I've been thinking about this. So big rug.
Okay.
Big high pile rug with they make these like mats that you can put underneath your carpet.
Yeah, like the non-slip things.
The non-slip ones, but they also make like thick ones that are like a half inch, so it's like cushier when you walk on it.
You're gonna cut a channel, and that's where the cord's gonna.
Exactly.
We're on the same wavelength.
Exactly.
I like it. I like it. That's smart.
So it's going to be obviously a furniture build because it's going to be building this table, but it's also going to be like a room reorganization thing.
Right.
So yeah, it'll touch on a bunch of different areas. It'll be like I'll wall mount my TV. I'll probably wall mount some of my speakers. So it'll be fun. There'll be a little bit of problem solving that goes into it.
So are you planning on having like the components, like your audio visual paraphernalia inside of it so they're not seen?
Exactly. Completely invisible.
So then are you going to have to get one of those like not infrared but like one of the RF repeater thingies?
No, cuz all of my electronics that just happen to work out this way are now all Bluetooth.
Oh.
Like all the, the PS5 and the Xbox and like the game consoles are all Bluetooth. They just work with a controller. You just pick up the controller and touch a button on the controller, turns it on.
Doesn't need direct line of sight, yeah.
Yeah, my TV remote is Bluetooth now because it's one of these new smart TVs. Oh. And that automatically, when I turn on my TV, it automatically kicks on the stereo system that runs all the drivers. Okay. Or all the speakers, I should say.
Okay.
So it'll literally be like perfectly seamless. Like you'll never really need to open up the media table unless you want to like add something or remove it. So it should be completely seamless is what I'm going for.
And are you going to need some fans in there, I would assume?
Yes. I'm thinking big intake and exhaust fan. I'm also thinking maybe some like nice... It's going to be tough to do this. I want to do a little bit of LED lighting inside so that you can see, because you're going to lift up the lid and you're going to have to look in there and, see things, right? But I'm also thinking maybe just a little accent, nothing too gaudy or, kind of unicorn vomity, but just a little accent lighting just spilling out from below the table.
That's classy.
Yeah.
Classy.
So
like movie theater, like, that little subtle light.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't want to beat you over the head with it. So just a little bit.
So are you thinking like the components inside of the media table? Is it going to be one of those like, have you seen the coffee tables that you like lift up and it like kind of hovers over the couch? Is that going to be like the lift mechanism, or is it going to be more like a blanket chest or like drawers?
I was thinking more like a blanket chest. I did think about the one that like comes over towards you, but I don't know. Something about that doesn't look that comfortable to me. Have you ever used one of those tables?
No.
Yeah.
I think I don't like the idea of like when it's over the table, you have this big, disgusting looking, nasty hinge.
Right? And there's no way that hinge is like stable enough that you could legitimately like work on a laptop or anything there. And also, I don't sit at my coffee table and use a laptop ever. So.
No, they call it a laptop for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So, have you come up with a design for this table yet?
That's something I'm still working on with Sophie. I had her make, I think I told you about this. I had her make a little Pinterest board of coffee tables that she likes.
Right.
So I can incorporate that. I've been given the directive that it has to be a lighter wood. I'm not allowed to use walnut.
Red oak.
I'm thinking white oak, just so you don't get angry. I was actually thinking I might try the not the Festool, but basically the same thing. The Rubio monocoat with the white pigment built into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I give it like a whitewash look, but it's going to be pretty simple. You know, a coffee table is basically just be a box. Oh.
If you ask them, you can get one of these things. They're like real wood samples. So what I'm showing Zach for anybody listening is like, it's like basically a Rolodex of a bunch of different samples of white oak with the colors, and then like you're like, oh, this is actually the one I'd recommend. This one is cotton white.
Cotton white, yeah.
So it tells you like shows you what it looks like. If you reach out to them, they'll send you one of these.
Okay. I mean, I know what I want because I just saw it. I'm going to do cotton white.
Cotton white would look excellent. Corn silk would also be a good choice.
Corn silk. Who names these?
I don't know. But you got a lot of choices. I don't know. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So times 2 is like 42 different colors.
Yeah. Okay. It's pretty sweet.
And if you want to get crazy, you can actually mix the colors too.
That's true.
And you can do something that they call pre-color easy, which is basically like staining the wood and then applying the oil on top of it. But if you're going for like subtle, like I think cotton white, just plain cotton white on top of it would be pretty classy, pretty tasteful.
Yeah. I want to go pretty subtle with it. A lot of the guys in the live chat are razzing me about making a water-cooled coffee table. And I am thinking about, I do have another water cooling build coming up. So you remember the Everything Console Mark III? I don't know if you ever watched that video, but I got this like little mini PC.
Yeah.
So I actually had one of these Chinese companies that makes the mini PCs reach out to me, and they're like, "Hey, we got a new one coming out. Do you want to do a review video of it?" And I was like, "I'm not going to do a review of it because that's not what my channel is about. However, I do want to do a very small form factor water cooled computer. Would you be okay with me taking your computer, ripping it apart, and then completely modding it?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. So we'll put it in the mail for you." So that's in the near future too.
Can you try to get an affiliate code too?
I should actually, yeah.
Because I'm assuming that there's like no sponsor requirements if they're just giving you this is what, like a couple $100 or something.
I think it's probably like $500-$600, something like that.
Right.
So nothing too crazy. But no sponsor requirement. They were just like, do you want it to integrate into the video? I was like,
a shout out, be like, oh, I used the ABC computer and I did this and this, and like, sure.
The B-Link GTR 7 Pro.
GTR 7 Pro. You got to do like a voice modulation, so when you say it, it sounds so funny. Cool. And then hit one of those things they do in like the rap songs where they're like, wah, 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 afterwards.
I had to find that. We need that sound effect for the show.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. What is that? Is that a horn?
I don't know. I don't even know what you would call that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I'll find it later. I'm looking at my Epidemic sound effects bank right now.
Well, I know it's not the after show.
You got a grievance to air?
I have a grievance to air.
Let's hear it.
So, this is. I'm getting back to where I said Corey Duvall is going to be excited about this. I know I had talked about it in the past, but I finally did it. Miranda and I, for our honeymoon, we're going to go to Hawaii, and we're nice. We want to go scuba diving. So we started doing our certification thingy. It's this whole ordeal to get certified to do it.
Patty, is that what it's called?
I have no idea. Something like that. I don't know. I think they're like two different ones. It's whatever the place that she used to work at. It's called Aquatic Adventures. We're just doing it there because she gets a discount off of it still.
Sweet.
Right. So they're like, okay, the first thing you have to do is you have to go on to this online thing. and basically do like a e-learning like college course online. It'll take like 10 to 15 hours to do or whatever. I was like, no problem. So I go onto the website, and literally everything about this website is just crap. You hit one link, you hit like my profile, and then it takes like to you to like the About Us page. Like it seemed like every link on this website was just messed up.
And this is like a body that certifies scuba divers?
Yeah, like a worldwide thing.
Wow, crazy.
It was, hold on. It's TDISDI.
TDISDI.
So like, and they fixed some of the stuff, but then like I would go online and try to like launch my like course that I had to do, and it would just go refresh, load, refresh, load, refresh, load, refresh, load for hours. I tried multiple computers, multiple browsers, the same thing. Like reached out to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is happening a lot." Like, what the hell? It took me like 4 or 5 days to get it all situated. And what I ended up having to do was like go on the URL thing and just started taking out things that were like after slashes. Right. Finally found like a custom URL that got me into the e-learning thing.
That's
I was
so funny.
Holy smokes. Absolutely infuriating.
I love it when you talk to a company and they're like, yeah, a lot of people have been complaining about that. And it's just like, they're not like, oh yeah, somebody said that, we're working on fixing it right now. It's like, we've heard the complaints and we have no plans on doing anything about it.
That was pretty much their response. They're like, oh yeah, a lot of people have been having that issue.
I was trying to book an appointment with my doctor, and I had to call like 7 or 8 times to get through to reception. Oh. And then finally I get through to reception and like, hey, sorry, we're just like kind of getting into the office and getting set up now. I was like, your website says you open at 9. It's like 10:30 now. They're like, oh yeah, we don't really go by the hours on the website.
Right.
And then just like nothing. And it's like, okay. I mean, that's a horrible experience for people trying to book an appointment.
Right. I mean, and isn't it trying to get an appointment in a Canadian doctor just impossible anyway?
Yeah. Sophie had to have a conversation with her doctor yesterday and be like, can you please take on Zach as a patient? Because it's just, there's like a shortage of, what do we, like a primary physician or a GP or whatever you call it.
Right.
They're all full and none of them are taking new patients. So it's really, and my doctor retired, which is part of the reason why I couldn't get in to see him.
But I mean, like, let's say tomorrow you wake up and you're like, man, I've been having some really bad shoulder pain. I think I might have like, I don't know, like torn my rotator cuff.
Yeah.
Legitimately, how long do you think it'd take you to get in to see somebody?
Oh God, I don't even know. Well, you could go to like a walk-in clinic or the emergency room and you would just have to sit there for like 5-6 hours.
Jesus.
Something like that. Or you could try to schedule a doctor, but you would have to get it honestly took me a couple weeks of trying to get somebody on the phone at my doctor's office. Just on the phone, let alone in to actually see him. Just the plan in Canada is just don't get sick.
But I mean, here it's not that much. Like, if you want to like go in, like get your teeth cleaned or whatever, just something basic, like you'd be all right. Yeah. But like a lot of times they're like, oh, you have to go to this person to then get a referral to the specialist, but the specialist can't get you in for like 6 months.
Right.
You're like, huh?
Yeah. I
don't know. That's why that's why I don't want to get old. I'm not getting old.
No. As soon as I can, I'm going to get a blood boy and, like a nice young 18-year-old. He's going to draw his blood and then inject it into me so that I can have all of his young nutrients. This is my secret plan.
I've never heard.
You've never heard of this before? Oh, all this Silicon Valley like CEOs do it. They all have blood boys.
That's the name of the episode, the one where they get a blood boy.
Yeah, the one where they get blood boys.
Or would you be buy a blood boy?
Yeah, the one where they buy a blood boy. Yeah.
See, I think a lot of listeners think, man, these guys probably put so much time and effort into naming these episodes.
No, we just let the live chat do it.
Yeah, we let the live chat do it. See, that's fun. You got to join the live chat.
Yeah, the one where they debate Canadian and American healthcare.
That's too riveting.
Yeah,
it gets,
too literal.
This is not a political show. We don't need that.
And Dadu is saying that in Quebec, which is the French province in Canada, a normal wait time is 18 hours.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like the wait time at one of my favorite brunch place. There's a place down here called I'm not going to remember the name now that I want to tell a story. $2 mimosas. What's this thing called?
Is it like a brand name that people have heard of before?
No, hole in the wall. Hole in the wall. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Deal. Doesn't matter. Yeah, $2 mimosas, and you go there, and they're always so understaffed. But the people that work there are like busting it. So like you don't really care, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it takes forever to get your food. But they pour $2 mimosas, and they get 5 mimosas out of a bottle of champagne. So like you're getting a stiff mimosa.
Yeah.
For $2.
So that's also a cheap bottle of champagne that they're using. I don't think that's champagne. I think that might be sparkling wine or prosecco.
Yeah, it is what it is,
Yeah.
I'm not there for the fancy time. I'm just there for a good time.
I could just imagine you at the table being all shocked. You'd be like, "You mean this mimosa isn't from the Champagne region of France? This $2 mimosa?"
They're like, "Get out of here." They're like, "You must listen to the Green Suitors podcast."
Oh wait, hold on. One second.
Got him.
Oh,
but dude, I'm still working on this damn media console.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the holdup?
Okay. So I got the sliding dovetails in for the little like battens, you could say, on the back of the doors.
Yeah, last week you were playing with some different hinge styles.
Hinges are good. I haven't put them on yet. Okay. So I got the sliding dovetails all settled on the battens. I would say they're like they ain't perfect, but it's going to look perfect on video. And you better believe I'm going to be like, and I nailed it first time. The problem was I was using scrap to like do my tests on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, boom, nailed it on the scrap. Well, the scrap I hadn't been like sanded down and stuff. So it was like a 64th of an inch bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So it fits fine, but it's like not as tight as I would have liked it.
Right.
But honestly, what I'm thinking of doing is spraying some water on the dovetails to swell it up.
Yeah.
And then I think it'll probably be okay.
I mean, that's kind of like you're gonna put wood glue in there, right? So it's gonna swell up a little bit with the wood glue too. Yeah. Maybe water down the wood glue a little bit.
Ooh, it's not a bad idea.
Just like brush on like a real coat of wood glue, and then I don't know. Wipe off the squeeze out.
I'm not terribly worried about it, but
yeah.
So I got those situated, and then this is the first time I've ever pre-finished something.
Oh,
so I basically pre-finished the doors with a little piece of like masking tape over where those like battens are going to slide in so that it doesn't get oil all over it, so that I can put glue in it.
Yep.
I don't know why I've never done this before.
Yeah, pre-finishing is pretty key. I do it a lot of the time. Like, I'll get to a certain point, like, before I'm ready to assemble everything.
Right.
And then I'll finish it all. And then I'll put it all together. Because getting inside, like, all those little interior corners, especially in a media console, where you got a bottom on it and you're trying to get all these things. Now, that being said, nobody's ever really going to stick their head in the box and be like, hey, Eric, you missed this little corner here inside the box. But it is a lot faster to do everything. You just roll it out real quick and you're good to go.
But here's the thing. I'm using like Rubio on it.
Right.
Dude, you literally just slather oil all over the damn place. And then just wipe it off and it looks perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never using film finishes on anything anymore.
No,
I just can't do it.
that's
Well,
where
I'm
you and I
telling you,
differ,
once
my
you
friend.
put Rubio on this coffee table, you'll just be like, all right,
Okay,
I'm done.
We'll see. It'll be my test.
Order
As
some
soon as there's
of,
one ring on it, though, I'm gonna be like, Rubio.
Well, I ordered. I've not used it. It's Cam's stuff. This.
Oh, is like one molecule thick
Yeah,
finish?
yeah. Which, if anybody doesn't know, it's just Carbon Method rebranded. Shocker. Comes from the same warehouse, same product. It's just in a different box.
There you go.
I'm sure everyone knows that, but
Yeah.
I'm going to try that out on the dining table to see how it works. But honestly, I've got Rubio on my dining table right now. We don't use coasters.
Okay.
And like
okay.
you set your drink on there, it leaves a ring. But then if you just wipe it, like take like a damp towel, it's
Mhm.
gone. So like
Okay,
it
okay.
leaves just like residue, I should say, on the top.
Okay. Residue's
But-
fine as long as it's not a permanent mark. That's all. I care about.
No.
'Cause I'm
Yeah.
lazy. You
Right.
know, yeah. I don't believe in placemats. I don't believe in coasters. I just put the stuff on the surface.
But the thing you're gonna love about Rubio, you can like put the finish on there and then go and just start sanding without a dust extractor. Just throw dust everywhere in the shop, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
You just wipe it off and move on with your life.
Yeah.
Or if you nick it, just take a little sandpaper, sand it out, throw a little oil on top, done.
Okay.
Done. But
Have you gotten a sponsorship from Rubio yet? Have you ever got them
No.
to send you free stuff? No, they're
No.
pretty chintzy that way, eh?
no, they
Yeah.
don't send anything.
Yeah.
All I got was this Rolodex.
Nice.
Actually, I take it back. When I was at the Festal charity build-off thing, they gave me a bottle of Rubio that was about the size of a bottle of nail polish,
Oh.
which
Well, I got one of those ones.
gets
actually.
you nothing.
Yeah.
Did
yeah.
they give them out at Workbench Con?
No, I got it very early on in my like social media thing. I was like, I'm gonna reach out to Rubio, and I have 1,000 Instagram followers, and see if I can get some free finish.
Yeah,
And they're
it's
like, we'll
a-
send you a little nail polish bottle.
It's like 3.5 milliliters or something like
It's
that.
something like that. It's ridiculously small.
It's about enough to put on like, I don't know, maybe a 6x6 square
Yeah.
to just see like test the color is about
Yeah.
it.
It makes like a airplane bottle of booze look generous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like half that size. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only free Rubio I've ever gotten,
Yeah.
and it was some hideous color, so I just threw it out.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's where I'm at. I truly, once the doors are all settled, and I'm gonna attach the like the dovetail battens to the doors tomorrow, because I just
Mhm.
put the finish on both pieces. Because if like with wood movement, I wanted to make sure there was finish on there, so if it does expand and contract, there's now not just like a dry spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once I have that, I'll attach the door hardware, and then I just have to put a back panel on. It should be like all set. I'm
Awesome.
definitely nearing the final stages, but just this being so damn big, it's like over 7 feet long. Like, dude, big
Yeah.
projects are tough in a small space.
Yeah. I could see that. Moving that thing around's got to be a little tricky.
Well, because I put it on the workbench to do something, and then I have to go cut something on the table saw. So I have to move it back to the sawhorses, and then I have to move it back. It's a constant juggle.
Could you do like some sort of like hooks from the ceiling and like hang it out of the way?
Possibly.
I wonder if that would work.
But then it's like, is it just going to be in the way of like filming of the camera and like all that kind of stuff?
True.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
But I'm
Maybe-
over large projects right now. I need
Yeah.
I need something small. I need a small win.
Okay. We got any plans? What's the next thing? Something small you want to make?
I have no idea. She wants some sort of like bar thing, but see, I don't know if she means like a whole like bar like media console type thing, or she just means like a shelf or like
Mhm.
I told her to give me like the Pinterest ideas.
Interesting.
Hasn't
This
done it yet.
this is gonna this Pinterest thing is gonna save both our relationships.
Oh, I know.
I'm positive.
She loves Pinterest, man. She loves Pinterest.
I bet you that's the most female oriented social media there is.
Oh, no doubt.
Right?
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what the split is, male to female. Have you ever seen male Pinterest? It's all like really like moody photos of motorcycles and stuff. It's kind of cool, but
Pinterest male percentage. I feel like it's like emo music.
oh, maybe, yeah.
It says 17% male.
Okay, yeah, I believe that number.
17 to 15% male. And 8% are unspecified.
Okay, okay.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've like Google image stuff and then I click on it and it takes me to Pinterest. And I'm like, oh, F this, I'm out. And I immediately
I don't
go back.
understand how Pinterest works. Like occasionally I'll go on Pinterest and I'll like see something that I like. I'm like, oh, that's a cool like coffee table. Let me click on it. And then it takes me to some website that's selling like e-courses. And I'm like, I've clicked on a link of a coffee table. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it at all.
I-
I'm too old for it, I think.
That's right. It's like TikTok. I don't know what the hell is going on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I was meaning to ask. You did an ad for Meta.
I did, yeah.
So how was that experience? Did you gain any insight or what? Couldn't
Not
get any
really. So
no.
it's through an ad agency. So I did the
Wow.
first part of it. Also, they like, it's funny. They like, it's one of these things where the partner or the sponsor, whatever, completely skewers the project. They wanted me to do one reel and one photo.
Okay.
So I went and I took this like nice, what I thought was a very nice photo. And, I wrote a caption for it. I don't know. I tried to like use my photography skills a little bit.
Right.
And they were like, oh, this is really nice. We love it. But it'd be really nice if there was something that you made in the photo. So I was like, oh, okay, crap. I don't really want to go back to this shop and reshoot the photo. So why don't we make this a carousel? And you can have the photo I took, and then we'll have like 2 screen grabs from one of my latest videos.
Perfect.
And they were like, cool, yeah, sounds great. So a couple rounds of revisions. They come back to me like, yeah, you know what? We're just gonna go with the last screen grab, and we'll just scrap the carousel aspect of it. And I was like, okay, like I don't think it's gonna play very well because the last photo is just kind of a boring photo. And they're like, no, it'll be fine. Trust us. I was like, okay. I put it out, like it bombed. It just completely tanked.
Who cares?
like-
You got paid for it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? So it's also funny because I'm doing a reel that's going to come out this Friday, and in it, I'm wearing this hat that I'm wearing right now, which is
Mark's hat.
It's his hat. And then I also had another T-shirt and hat that had another one of my friends' logos on it. And like, hey, Meta was like, hey, we're going to need signed releases from your friends saying that it's okay to wear their clothes in the thing. So I had to get like Mark and my other buddy to sign this big long release, and they can't even just sign it. They had to sign it as the brand and as themselves. It was kind of ridiculous.
It's like they don't care.
Yeah, I was like,
They're
it's literally
pumped
free
for the
promotion.
promotion.
They're not going to sue you.
Right.
But big companies are going to big company, so we'll see.
Yeah. I've got what time are we at? We are an hour, right?
We're 1:10 in, but we had a long intro, so finish your
But we'll
thought.
keep going. I guess this can be our tease. We'll start talking about it and then we'll transition to the after show. So I got a message from my agent Mark the other day, potentially working with one of these like battery companies.
Right.
Like one of the big portable battery generator things.
Yeah.
Wanted one of these for a long time.
Yes. So you can run both your tools at the same time.
Right. So I'm pumped to get one. And my pitch was, why don't we ask them for a little bit more money and do a little bit more of like an integrated, like more dedicated kind of video for it? Because
not a 60-second ad read, but using the product the whole way through the video.
Right. Yes. Because I've seen so many people do like the classic 60-second ad read on it. And I'm like, okay, great. But what can this thing really do? Right? Like, can it run a table saw? I don't know.
Yeah.
Can it run a bandsaw? Can it run a miter saw?
Yeah.
I haven't seen people really put this to the test. So that's what I pitched to them. And they said no. They didn't want to do that.
They just want a 60-second ad read.
So now, so listen to this. I'll tell you. Go ahead. And I'll pull up the message.
Well, the cynic in me is now thinking that maybe it can't power the table saw, and they know that, and that's
they don't
why
want to see it not get a tool.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get this thing, and then you're going to have to tell us on the podcast if it powered your table saw.
Oh yeah, you better believe I'm going to do that. So he said they're sending me a unreleased pre-production model that is their most powerful generator to date.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Generator.
Yeah, it's like a battery backup generator thingy.
Oh, so does it run on gas? I assumed it was just
it's electric.
Oh, so why is it a generator? I assumed it's a big battery.
I think they use. He probably just said generator, probably interchangeably with like battery bank.
Okay, gotcha.
So here's their ask. Sorry, I gotta scroll. He said they want about 30 to 60 seconds of you just kind of hitting some of the talking points and talking about the features of it, like whatever, like, oh, it has so many, like, sure. Then they want, like, throughout the video, a total of 60 seconds of it being in frame while I'm using it.
Oh, I've never seen a requirement like that before, but that's interesting.
So the idea would be like, oh, I'm sanding something and like my sander's plugged into it or whatever, like through a 30-minute video, you know how easy it will be to get 60, like that's no problem.
Yeah.
And then they want 2 to 3 minutes of it just being in the background or just on screen.
Okay. Again, relatively easy in a long video to do.
Right. So here's my question. And this is what I'm going to lead off. This is where I'm going to stop for the after show. How do I put this in a video that I've already made?
Oh.
So I don't have to make a new video, a new project.
Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about this in the after show for sure.
Okay, because I have an idea, and I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay.
But we're going to head over the after show. We're going to talk about this, and we got a boatload of questions from the audience, and they heard our response. We threatened last week. We said that we will only talk about the questions that people send in. No filler, no fluff.
Okay.
And we're like, we weren't even going to have an after show if nobody sends any questions. Well, people send in questions. So we got an after show. And we're going to talk about this spicy topic. So if you want to check this out and stop being a freeloader, you can go over to patreon.com/offthecut-podcast. And remember, when you support Off the Cut, you don't support the Green Suitors podcast. Got them.
All right, everybody. I get tired of that stupid sound effect.
No, that's a good one. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, everybody. Peace out.